burned alive or slaughtered in their homes, the parents hiding their newborn babies before confronting the terrorists, children and elderly people ripped from their families, taken hostages, even Holocaust survivors. Over 1,300 human beings were murdered by barbaric terrorists of Hamas against Israel. They aimed to eradicate Jewish life from the land, and they took action. This is the most heinous assault against Jews since the Holocaust. We thought this could never happen again, yet it did. In the face of this unspeakable tragedy, there's only one possible response. Europe stands with Israel. And Israel has the right to defend itself. In fact, it has the duty to defend its people. And we must call by their name the atrocities committed by Hamas. This is terrorism. This is an act of war. Nothing can justify what Hamas did. This is the time to stand in solidarity with Israel and its people. And this is why I am here. Let me also be very clear that Hamas alone is responsible for what is happening. Hamas acts have nothing to do with the legitimate aspiration of the Palestinian people. On the contrary, the horror that Hamas has unleashed is only bringing more suffering upon innocent Palestinians. They are threatened too. Hamas' despicable actions are the hallmark of terrorists, and I know that how Israel responds will show that it is a democracy. In recent days, I've also been in contact with King Abdullah of Jordan and President Sisi of Egypt. Europe will keep working for a peaceful and integrated Middle East. We know that Hamas actions risk to affect the historic rapprochement between Israel and its Arab neighbors. And we should observe very closely those who stand to gain from a perpetuating conflict in the Middle East, like Iran and Russia. So now is the time to work even more closely with Israel and with countries in the region for stability and against terror. Finally, Jewish communities across the world are also deeply affected, including in Europe. Anti-Semitic incidents are again on the rise, and this is unacceptable. We are deeply concerned by the spread of online hate and speech and fake news, which are proliferating at worrying speed and even difficult to keep track of. We are already in contact with social media platforms to remind them of their obligations. There is no place and zero tolerance for hate in Europe, both online and offline, against anyone. Over the past years, the European Union has put the fight against anti-Semitism and fostering Jewish life in Europe at the heart of our action, like never before. This is the moment for all of us to stand together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ursula. I appreciate the expression of support that you gave now and in the recent days, and the fact that so many European countries have stood with us and shoulder to shoulder. These are not merely acts of war, these are war crimes. What Hamas has done is to perpetrate the worst war crime since the Holocaust. The burning of people alive, cramming young people in a room, bringing spare tires from cars so there's more flames, burning them alive. This is the Holocaust methods. Shooting babies, bound children, shooting them in the face, killing children in front of their parents, killing parents in front of their children, the rape and murder of women, the kidnapping of old people, young people, families, tearing them away. You saw the picture of that little boy, pushed, beaten. It reminds us of the pictures from the worst periods of the Holocaust. So if Hamas could have its way, it would do to us exactly what the Nazis did to the Jews. They would kill every last one of us. They would mutilate our bodies. They would behead us, and that's what they did. And therefore, it is important to understand Hamas perpetrated the worst war crimes since World War II. And Hamas is ISIS. In some respects, as President Biden has said, they're worse than ISIS. And so they have to be treated the way ISIS was treated. The international community banded together to eradicate this horrible scourge. And I appreciate the fact that the international community and Europe is standing behind Israel so that we can eradicate this scourge. We are doing so, I think, in the front line of civilization. This is the front line of civilization and barbarism. And we have to assure that nobody meets with the barbarians. There are not diplomatic relations with ISIS, there are not diplomatic relations with Al-Qaeda after 9/11, and there's no harboring. States that harbor Hamas representation are harboring ISIS or Al-Qaeda. That's unthinkable. There should be a concrete position of the international community to apply sanctions on countries that do so. If we stand united, then civilization will win. And Israel appreciates the support that you're giving us in these trying times. And I'm sure we'll have other ideas that we'll talk about in our meeting. Thank you, Ursula.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think there's a tremendous revulsion, obviously. But right now we need to